Let's start our hour off with Prashanti, which is led here by a devotee of Satya Sai Baba, and her good name is Mrs. Nalini Bhat.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini.
In response to invitations from these, Swami started visiting various cities. He went to Madras, Bangalore, Mysore, Hyderabad and the hill station Ooty. Elder brother Seshamaraju was now deeply concerned. He began to worry about the impact of the attention that his younger brother was receiving, especially in the press. In May 1947, Seshama wrote to Swami conveying his anxiety. Shortly thereafter, on 25th May, Swami wrote a reply. It was supposed to be a reply to his elder brother, but in reality, it was a prophetic message to humanity. In that letter, Baba says, in part, as the proverb says, it is only the fruit-laden tree that receives a shower of stone from the passers-by. The good always provoke the bad into calumny. The bad always provoke the good into doing more good. People too have to be pitied rather than condemned. They do not know. They have no patience to judge correctly. They are too full of lust, anger and conceit to see clearly and know fully. So they write all sorts of things. If only they know, they would refrain from writing or talking like that. We too should not attach any value to such comments and take them to heart as you seem to do. Truth will certainly triumph someday. Untruth can never win. Untruth might appear to overpower truth, but its victory would fade away and truth would establish itself. I have a task to foster all mankind and ensure for all people lives full of ananda. I have a vow to lead all who stray away from the straight path again into goodness and save them. I am attached to a work that I love, to remove the suffering of the poor and grant them what they lack. When I am thus engaged in my beneficial task, how can my name be ever tarnished as you apprehend? Mahatmas do not acquire greatness through someone calling them so. They do not become small just because some call them small. Authenticity will soon win. No one can comprehend my glory, whosoever it may be, whatever be the method of inquiry, and no matter how long the attempt. You will yourself see the full glory unfolding in the coming years. Devotees must have patience and forbearance. I am not concerned, nor am I anxious that these facts should be made known. I have no need to write these words. I wrote them because I felt that you will be pained if I do not reply. Thus, yours, Baba. It is important to note the date, 25th May 1947. India was still being ruled by the British. In fact, right then, discussions were going on in London concerning what the British should do about the future status of India. And here was Baba, not yet 21, promising to foster all mankind. Avatars never forget their mission. And looking ahead, Swami decided to bring the curtain down on the Leela phase for which the Pata Mandiram was the stage. A new mandir was needed that would become his global and indeed universal headquarters. And the foundation for that headquarters was laid in 1948.
We all love our beloved Swami and never fail to hail him as the perfect embodiment of pure and unsullied love. We praise his university, his hospitals, the various drinking water projects, and we also participate in various service activities undertaken to spread his love and message. All that is laudable, of course, but how many of us can truly say that we really understand Swami's teaching and what it means to the future of humanity as a whole? How conscious are we that Swami has come not only to give his message, but to actually live it? If only humanity were to take his message more seriously, it could save itself from the disaster it faces in the shape of climate change, terrorism, mass poverty and whatnot. If only we are aware that Swami's teachings and message can actually usher in an era of world peace and global harmony. His message is the most precious gift that Swami has given humankind forever.
Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's begin with Prashanti, to be presented here by a close friend of mine, and her good name is Mrs. Nalini Bhat.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome, brothers and sisters. This is Nalini.
Swami's life is like that lamp. Swami just burnt out his body to give light to all of us. One teacher was narrating how his grandmother first came to Swami. Through that entire process of Bukkapatnam, horse cart, bullock cart, she arrives. She's tired. She's crossing the Chitravati sands, and then she sees Puttaparthi. You know, Puttaparthi, there's nobody actually. There are some cows in a distance, and there's one cowherd. That cowherd is resting like this on the cow. She looks, hey boy, come here. And that boy comes. She says, I've come to see Sai Baba. He says, oh, you have come to see Sai Baba? Sai Baba stays at Pathamandiram. So this boy leads this sir's grandmother to the mandir. He takes her to one well and says, see, this is the well that you have to take water for taking your bath and your ablutions. Then takes her to another well and says, this well gives sweet water which you can use for drinking. You can put your luggage there under the tree, you can rest. Sai Baba will come, you can enjoy darshan, there will be bhajans. And then this boy leaves. This granny is thinking, now I've come all the way, okay. At least some shelter-like thing is there. In 10 minutes the darshan begins. And who does she see giving darshan there? That cowherd boy. He's coming. This is Sai Baba. Swami was the first PRO of the ashram. Swami was the first watchman. Swami would get up and sweep the whole Pathamandir. He puts flower and garland and everything to his own bust and Shirdi Baba's idol. And there's one stone on which Om has been carved, which is still in Pathamandir today. Then he'll sit on that and wait. When people come, he will talk to them and sing bhajans. He's the first lead singer. That was when a few ladies came and told Swami, you don't sweep and mop, we will sweep and mop. Swami would not listen. So what the ladies did is, let us get up even before Swami gets up. So they would rise early in the morning, and by the time Swami gets up, whole thing is clean. And that is how the task of sweeping, mopping, putting rangoli, flowers, to this day in the ashram that is carried out by the devoted women, started from those days. That is how things have transitioned and come to where they are today. For everything, Swami was the first to do with his own hands.
You know, when you say that Swami was the first PRO, he was also the first watchman of this place. Because Kamla Sarthi used to say, the first time when they came, they landed up at some very odd hour in Penukonda. They went and rudely woke up one man who had a bullock cart and pleaded with him and paid 3 times the fare and made him drop them in the other side of Chitravati. Now, of course, this looks like in the coastal cities of America or something. You can see the lights all over the hills. But those days, if you land on the other side of Bukkapatnam, even say after 7 or 8 o'clock, there's not a single light. There's absolutely pitch dark. And if you land there at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the night, there is nothing. You just cannot see anything. Imagine 3 ladies with 2 children land up at that hour in such a place where they cannot see anything. Forget the path, they can't see anything. And there in the horizon, they see somebody waving a torchlight. They see somebody holding a small torchlight and waving. So they say, okay, there's somebody there. They go near. Who is that? Swami is waiting there because Swami knows these people are coming and there's nobody with them. There's one more teacher in our school who says this beautiful episode where he and his newly wed wife come to Puttaparthi. They come to know of Swami. They are on the other side of Chitravati. The river is flowing. They don't know how to cross. And there they see one little boy holding some stick and playing. They call that little boy and say, how do we go to Puttaparthi? How do we cross? The boy says, see, the river is flowing, but there is a certain part in which you can walk. I know it, you follow me. So this person holds this young boy's hand and his wife's hand, and they walk through Chitravati and come to the mandir. So the boy says, see, this is the place, you can go like this. Bhajans are going on, you can go and sit there. So he asks them to go, they enter through the back door. This boy enters through the front door and goes and sits on the throne. And this was a very, very common thing which happened those days.
Bhagwan Baba's life was a saga of selfless service to humanity. He never differentiated between the rich and the poor, or people of different nationalities, religions and castes. One of his fundamental teachings is love all, serve all. Love and service are like the 2 wings of a bird, he would say. His love has touched and transformed millions of lives.
Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's start this hour off with Prashanti, which will relay a close-to-heart story of Satya Sai Baba. This will be presented here by a beautiful friend of mine, and her name is Nalini Bhat. Come on close. Let's take a look.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini.
It was somewhere between 1914 and 1917, and we are talking about Bhagwan Shri Shirdi Baba. My grandmother was maybe 6 or 7 years old that time. Hirabai Bodadik, one of the great singers, the vocalists of our country. Her father, my great-grandfather was a Muslim, Ustad Abdul Karim Khan, the founder of Kirana Gharana. A very, very divine soul, but that experiences about them, my grandmother especially. I am narrating this exactly as what Swami told me in the interview room. That Ustadji Abdul Karim Khan sahib, my grandmother as a kid, 6-7 years old, and mother. We were traveling in the train, and this girl had some infection. They found out that there was some doctor in the train, so they said, better you get off the next station and treat her very well. They got off at that station. They looked around and there was no doctor to be found. Somebody said, why don't you go over there? There is Baba sitting there. Take the baby. They went over there. It was Shirdi Baba sitting over there. Swami told that Shirdi Baba saw them coming and said, let's get the child over here, she won't die. They went to Shirdi Baba and he blessed the child and cured her. They stayed there for 1-2 days. So slowly the temperature went down and she was out of that danger. With the Vibhuti ash. My great-grandfather, Ustad Abdul Karim Khan Sahib, he was fortunate enough to sit in front of Shirdi Baba. And before leaving, Shirdi Baba again blessed them and gave them some silver coins. So this was one of the most blessed moments in her life. Later, Hirabaiji, my grandmother, we were talking about the girl, that is Hirabaiji, my grandmother. When she was 60 years old, on her 60th birthday, like there is the birthday is coming 3-4 days away, a message came from Bombay that Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba is in Bombay and would like to listen to Hirabai's vocal recital on the same day as her birthday. She was a very pious woman, to do all this small prayers in the morning, cook for God, early morning. So she decided she will go. She went to Bombay. Swami was staying with this minister called P.K. Sawant. So at his home, she went and took his darshan. So when she touched Swami's feet, Swami smiled and said, well, we have already met Sai. Of course, she won't understand what he was saying. She took blessings, she sang, and Swami blessed her. And then she was back home. So that was the physical introduction with the second avatar of my grandmother, Hirabaiji. Later, another beautiful, remarkable experience we had when my grandmother, Hirabaiji, was formally called in for a concert by the government of India to perform in the Parliament House for some foreign delegates. And this was in the mid-70s. So when it's a government concert, it's so formal that the register letter and the approval and the documenting, and because it is signed by the President of India. So one date was fixed and she accepted the program to go to Delhi and perform there. It was like 2 months away. But in the meanwhile, another call came from Puttaparthi saying that Swami has asked Hirabaiji to come there and perform in front of Bhagwan Baba on the same day as the Delhi date which she had already given for the government. She cancelled the Delhi concert. She sent an official letter and she sent the message to Puttaparthi saying that I will be coming there and performing. So she goes with her entire musicians and all and family. We all go there. And this has been documented in the Satyam Shivam Sundaram, approved by Swami also. So she came to Puttaparthi, she sang in front of Swami. She was here for 5-6 days. Swami gave us interviews. And then she later came back to Pune. So after a week or 2 weeks, a registered letter comes in. It's a cover letter saying that Hirabaiji, your performance in Delhi was very good. The delegates liked it very much. And all these things with a check behind the remuneration of the concert. My grandmother thought that it's a clerical mistake. Somebody must have performed and that check, instead of changing the name, it came to her name. So she can return the check. And a phone call came from there and saying, what you are talking, you had come over there, you stayed over there in this particular person's house, you cooked food for them. There was a newspaper photograph in one of the major newspapers in Delhi, and you came and performed there and you are saying you didn't come and perform. Whereas actually at the same moment she was performing in Puttaparthi. So this was one of the very rare and unheard kind of a thing. She was a very, very blessed soul, very divine soul. My grandmother used to sometimes get up early in the morning, like between 2, 3 or 4, and secretly cook a bhakri, a thick roti we have, and she used to give it to somebody. One day I asked my mom, who is she cooking for early in the morning? Then she said, sometimes Swami comes, Shirdi Baba comes and asks for food. And he stands behind the gate of the house, he asks from there. He likes warm, very fresh cooked broccoli, so she used to cook for him.
Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.